Last week we did a video on 60 non-food items you might want to be stocking up on right now, but there are even more things you may want to be thinking about.
Hey, if you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
We're recording this on Sunday, so happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. Larry has some of his plunder to show you before we dig into the topic for this video.
Well, first, I got this at church this morning. This is from a pastor and his wife. It says, "Blessed is the man who finds strength in the Lord." I really like that. So nice coffee cup.
Nice.
Now, who is this from, Hope? Is this from?
That was from me and the kids.
Okay, Hope and the kids got me a 2-pound bag of dark roast Pete's coffee. It's organic.
Okay, now we've never tried this coffee before. I got it from Sam's. If you've tried Pete's, tell us in the comments section whether I made a good choice or not.
Anything with a name like Pete's has got to be good.
Oh, for Pete's sake. What's the last thing you got so far?
Okay, this is really fun.
Oh my gosh.
My son Daniel, of course, he works at a thrift store. And so when fun items comes in, he'll put these aside and buy them for dear old dad. And here's one of them. This is the Universal Studio collection of the Marx Brothers movies. Let me see if I can, there, that shows pretty good. These are my favorite all-time comedians. In fact, Hope and I don't know how many times we watched Animal Crackers, but that movie just cracks me up. And that was done in 1930. And of course, Coconuts was their first movie in 1929. It had all 5 of the Marx Brothers. This is good quality material right there.
Any other Marx Brothers fans out there, tell us in the comments section. Y'all can come over and watch them with Larry.
Oh my gosh, I love their humor. It's just so off the wall.
Oh my gosh. So our boys will actually come over. It'll be like a guy's night. I will vacate to the upstairs, and Larry and all 4 boys will sit down here for hours.
We'll be cracking
and just
up.
Laugh uproariously. So there you go. Our older 2 boys haven't been over yet because I have been sick all week. And so whatever I had, which I'm much, much better now. Thank you for your good wishes of getting well soon and for your prayers. I appreciate both of them. I'm feeling much, much better. But whatever I had, they don't want to get, so they're not coming over today.
It's so nice to have you back. It just wasn't the same without Hope. I tell you, it wasn't. I was going to have to feature Robbie the robot as my sidekick if she didn't show up today.
Well, as you said, if you don't go on the video with me, I'm putting Robbie beside me. I'm like, I'm there. I'm so there. Although some of you, I'm sure, would love to have seen Robbie as his co-host.
Now Robbie talks, and I was just going to have him comment every once in a while. But anyway, she's much better, so I'm glad she's back.
All right, as y'all know, primarily this whole channel is about living frugally, about spending less and saving more. But so many of you have told us you are super concerned, as we all are, about the rising prices, about the supply line snafus, about what possibly could be coming around the bend. It's like you hear this train coming down the track towards you. It's around the bend. You can't see what the train is, how long it is, or how much damage it's going to do.
Or whether it's still on the track.
I know, exactly. And that's the way we all feel.
Yeah.
So I think this is a huge need right now, especially in the frugality community, to say, yes, you need to be stocking up. And here's how you can do it. And here's what you should be looking for as far as products that you want to get that are rather inexpensive, that will still take you a long way down the line in terms of preparation. We've done several videos on different pantry items that are inexpensive to stock up on, have long shelf life, and are very versatile. Last week, we did 60 non-food items you want to be talking about and thinking about. And we threw it to you and said, all right, viewers, what did we miss? Well, we got a lot of great comments, and that's what we're going to share on the program today. So without further ado, we have more non-food items that you need to be thinking about.
And I just want to say, you guys contribute so much to our channel with these comments that we think it's a very great value to share these every so often with you.
All right, we're going to get started. Nathaniel said, here's what he would add to our list that we gave a week ago. He would say, make sure that you got some bug spray around. Actually, super important. Pest control, dish detergent. Now, he says more like regular Dawn or Palmolive instead of like those little things you get for, we've never had a dishwasher, like an electronic dishwasher. So I don't know what you call them. Call them pods? what do you call them? The soap that goes into the electronic dishwasher. Is it an electronic dishwasher? Whatever it is, your dishwasher. Those pods that go in there. He's not talking about that soap.
I think they're called automatic dishwashers.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's not talking about that. He's talking about detergent like Dawn. And here's why that's important. We have heard from so many viewers, about how incredibly strong Dawn is. And it is. I will give you that. It's a little bit more expensive, but we've talked about that too. Mm-hmm. How when you're frugal, you don't necessarily buy the least expensive product. You buy the product that is the highest quality you can get for the amount of money that you're willing to spend.
Well, here's the thing about Dawn too. A little bit of that goes a long way. We used to use another detergent. I can't think of the name of it. It was real cheap. It was green. And you'd have to put in about a cap full to get enough detergent and suds in your dishwashing liquid, whereas Dawn, a little squirt, and you're good to go. So it is more concentrated. It's a real good grease cutter, and so it's a lot better cleanser. They have good stuff in it. So is Palmolive. That's another really good one. Those are the two that we buy.
Now, several of you have talked to us about Dawn in the past, though, and said there are a lot of uses for Dawn that you use it for that have nothing to do with doing a sink load of dishes, too. So we actually agree with that. That is a great comment. Faith gave us a number of comments. Yes, we have notes in front of us. We're reading your comments off of notes. We did not memorize them all.
Faith, good to hear from you. I know you're a regular viewer, and we appreciate your input. So she says, it is always good to have a good supply of everything you use. I have about a year's supply of almost everything I use. That's really good.
Faith, you're awesome.
I took out a notebook and wrote down what I used and how I can get those items cheaply, but would last. Mm-hmm. Then I looked at items that I normally only used once or twice and looked into replacing those items with reusable items. Everyone's needs are different. Just take time and look at what you can use. Little by little, stock up on those items as you can afford it. Do the best you can, and don't be hard on yourself if it takes longer for you to do things. It's a great comment.
Faith gave us some of the most practical, kind advice that I think we received. What I loved about Faith's advice was she's telling you this is individualized, people. You could have a checklist of all 60 of our items that we gave last week, but not all those items might be applicable to you. So Faith's advice really at the core is find out what is most important to you and then make a list and figure out how you can get that for the least expensive price possible. Find items that will last you a good long time, and then also, make sure that you are replacing, when you can, items that are disposable with items that are reusable. Love it. All right. Mm-hmm. Sharon's up next.
Sharon P. says,
Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper is good to have on hand as it coagulates the blood if you have a bad cut.
Yeah, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Caroline says she likes to have tweezers around to make sure she can pull out splinters. I can't believe tweezers were not on our original list, but they were not.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have. Carol Ferguson writes, Manuka honey will heal burns. Mm-hmm. Skin glue is good to put into the first aid kit. And that acts like a bandage, isn't that right?
It does. You know what? I had to look up skin glue. Oh. I know. Y'all are shocked. You're going to tell me in the comments, I can't believe you've never used skin glue. I've raised 4 boys, never used skin glue. Mm-mm. I don't know what that says. No, our kids have definitely, sliced things.
They're using it more in emergency rooms and so on. I've heard of it. So,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Monica says, coffee filters, burn cream with lidocaine. Solar lights, safe for indoor light solution. Yeah, we've had that suggested several different times. Rochelle, she watches us all the time. She had several suggestions.
Oh, yeah. Rochelle Thundercloud. Yeah, very familiar. Hair ties, claw clips. These are great. Now, what are claw clips? I'm not familiar with that.
They're like clips. Women use them for their hair, and they're like big claws, and you put it open. You do an updo with it. You pull your hair up, and you put the claw in it, and then it holds it, and it looks like way cool.
I didn't know women had claws. That's a new one. Chip clips. What is a chip clip?
That's one of those clips you put on the top of chips. Oh my gosh, I'm going to finish Rochelle's.
I don't call them that.
He doesn't know what these things are.
I don't call them. I just call them that thing that sticks on the magnet on the refrigerator that she used to.
Gosh.
No, I get the next one.
Okay, go ahead.
Clothespins. I know what a clothespin is, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Shoelaces. Clotheslines, jump ropes. I love, this was so cute. Various tapes.
Cassette tapes?
Not the music kind, Larry.
Reel to reel.
Now, Rochelle said that in her real comments. She said, tapes, various tapes, not the music kind, Larry.
Man.
Rochelle knows you well. Crazy glue and insulated bags and coolers. All right, J.L. Emerson. I'm going to skew the paper here so we can keep on reading, guys.
Okay. J.L. Emerson says,
Smart guy. Guy or gal. J.L. Very, very smart person. Left great comments.
Yeah. Any and all camping supplies can be used for emergencies. Anything that makes life easier while camping will be useful for other situations. Gardening tools, manual tools, and supplies, seeds too. Very important. Now, we were just listening to a video today that somebody is stocking up on seeds. Menstrual pads and tampons should be included in your first aid kit. The pads are great for use as an absorbent bandage on larger wounds. Tampons are good to control bleeding from puncture wounds till you can get professional medical care. Yeah, they have a lot of absorbency, don't they?
Tell us in the comment section if you ever would have thought of that, because I would not have.
I certainly would not have, and trust me. Get vet wrap. It's stretchy, slightly adhesive paper wrap that's similar to Patents. What? Oh, I skipped a line. It's similar to Ace bandages, only much cheaper. Used by veterinarians on their animal patients. The so-called human version is also more expensive than vet wrap. Add duct tape to your first aid kit. It can pull splinters and thorns. It can pad splints, etc. Duct tape is good for almost everything.
Pretty much.
Once again, ask Red Green. Ziploc bags of various sizes need to be in your first aid kit too. They have so many uses. Super glue can be used to close small wounds that would otherwise need stitches. Now, I've heard of that. They use that as skin glue. Super glue can be used as skin glue.
But it's not meant to be used for that though either. So I've heard cautionary tales
about
using super glue for that.
Yeah, it isn't sanitized like skin glue is. So if you're in an emergency situation and you have nothing else, maybe you should use it. But otherwise, I would stick to the skin glue.
It seems
stuff.
safer to me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Those were all those last few comments were from J.L. Emerson. Thanks, J.L. Those were very, very.
Yeah, and the camping, you think about what you take camping. You take camping lanterns, camping stoves. You might have some forks and sticks for barbecuing. You get the barbecue grill out on the back if you don't have power in your house. I mean, anything you use for camping, because really camping is portable living. So that is all really good to have. We have camping supplies still in the garage from when we went tent camping.
I just want to go camping now.
Maybe someday we'll get out camping again.
Oh my gosh.
We haven't done it in years.
Tell us in the comment section if you too are campers or former campers.
We were happy campers.
We were very happy campers. Those are great times. All right.
Yes.
Saga says, magnifying glass is great. I thought this was such a good idea. You can start a fire with one.
I remember doing that when I was little. I would use a magnifying glass to burn a hole in a leaf, a dry leaf.
Oh
it
my
would burn
gosh.
a hole in a leaf.
You were so dangerous.
Oh, I was, man.
Oh, my word.
Good thing you didn't know me back then.
Okay, so Jenny actually has a cautionary tale. This is from her personal, this happened to her, guys. She said, make sure that you have some cash on hand because many years ago, her area was hit by a hurricane. They were without power for at least a week, over a week. Most stores, however, were open because they had generators, but the caveat was you had to pay in cash. No credit cards, no debit cards accepted. Have some cash on hand.
Yeah, without an internet connection, stores cannot use credit cards because that's what they use to do the credit checks. So if you're without power and you're running on your own, but your city doesn't have power and there's no internet, then there you go. There's nothing like cash. As we've heard before, cash is king.
Yeah, it is. Some real quick ones next. Don
Clark says Don Clark says an assorted box of nails, a clothesline, and clothespins. I guess that's for putting up a clothesline to hang clothes. Yeah, we did that when we went camping. We had a little clothesline that we would hang up on the tree and dry our clothes with.
Zoe says, add a couple of different kinds of pairs of scissors.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Scissors can be used for so many things. Martha Durkee says, coconut oil is also something that should be kept on hand. It not only is good for cooking and baking, it can also be used for oil pulling. If you have a tooth abscess, or just tooth pain. WD-40 can also be used to remove adhesive gunk. And in a pinch, a large dish towel can be used for a sling. Interesting, because we mentioned, I think, all of these items on previous videos.
We have. So coconut oil, we actually talked about. It's in a video that we did a while back on the top 10 things you need to keep in your pantry that are healthy and that are long-lasting and that are inexpensive. And I'm going to make sure that video, in case you haven't watched it, we'll link it up above and in the description of this video.
Judith Stork says, slings. A couple of weeks ago, my right elbow was swollen from arthritis. And I just took a bath towel, secured two corners, flipped it over my head, and slowly put my right arm in it. It worked wonders for a makeshift sling. How about that?
Now, what's interesting about this is what I'm seeing is, because we mentioned having a sling on hand.
We did.
I love that we had 2 or 3 different viewers at least who wrote in and said, you know what? I got a DIY version of that. I think the whole lesson here is that we are going to have to think outside the box.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to use our creativity.
Beverly's up next. She's a full-time RVer, guys.
Okay, so Beverly says, first aid training is an essential item. Recently, I've also added a couple of tourniquets. I have also added an adjustable walking cane to my provisions. In addition to duct tape, I keep a tube of weatherproof silicone caulking. Lots of uses.
I love the silicone idea. I would never, ever have thought of that. But I love that she's a full-time RVer because I feel like she's got as far as figuring out, she's got limited storage. She's figured out what's really important to her. And I wanted to say what's going to take her furthest down the road, but you get the idea. She's figured this stuff out because she's had to. She has limited space and she's on the move all the time.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to say. People that live in RVs don't have a lot of space, so you have to really prioritize. There's Hope's favorite word. You have to prioritize what you have on hand. Same with people who live in those tiny houses. They have to figure out what's important, and they don't have a lot of room for nonsense.
Susie reminds us, I think this was such an important reminder. She said, I want to remind y'all, look for these products. Everything you're looking for, look in different areas of your store. She gives us an example, witch hazel. Sold in the cosmetics section of any big box or supercenter type store. It will always be twice as much as the witch hazel you find in the health or medicinal section of the very same store.
Wow.
Same product, different location. I thought that was great insight.
I never would have even suspected that at the same store.
Yeah.
Wow. Rhonda says, sewing supplies. Just added to mine this last weekend. Basic color in threads, assortment of needles, seam ripper, needle threader, etc. Yeah, so you can do repairs.
Absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Kathleen, I keep packing lists on my phone for every situation. So if ever I need to pack anything up, she needs to do it quickly. She's got the list right there available.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
And she also says I would add wet wipes like Cottonelle, or is that right? Cottonelle or baby wipes for a quick freshening up if needed. They're good if you don't have enough water for rinsing off soap. So that's a good thing to have, wet wipes.
Michelle, Calamine Lotion. We have it on hand.
Oh,
we
yeah.
should see. I bet our Calamine Lotion is like 15 or 20 years old. We don't use it that often. It's one of those things you buy and you don't have it out very often, so you forget to see how low you are on it.
Actually, I had a bout of poison ivy. It wasn't that long ago, so it's not that old.
Okay.
And that stuff is great. That is the best stuff for poison ivy or anything that you need to dry up your skin. Yeah, that's really sumac, that kind of thing.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Full of hope.
And then Benadryl cream and antibiotic ointment she adds. Aloe vera gel for burns, and I've heard about that. Aloe vera is good for burns.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Next.
Oh, I like her name. Full of Hope. That's awesome.
I do too. Great name.
If you have a box of things you need during a blackout, wrap reflective tape around it. That way it's easy to find with your bedside flashlight.
Isn't that great?
That is awesome. I have all of my power outage stuff kind of scattered around the house, actually. I've got some of it in one room, some of it's in my office, some of it's in drawers. I kind of keep it scattered around. I don't know if the rest of the family knows where my stuff is, really. But it's good. We leave a couple of lanterns just sitting out in the family room in case we lose power. And these lanterns, these are the tough lights. They flash. They have a little LED flasher. It's flashing red all the time. So if you lose power, you can find those, kind of similar to her reflective tape.
You know what? And I just want to address this just a sec. So on the video, we're gonna ask you to rewatch if you haven't watched it yet, or watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Because if you're rewatching it, you've already watched it. But you might want to rewatch it. That's the one we did last week on 60 items you might want to have on hand. The last tip we gave and we said was the most important was to have a list of all of these items and where they're located. Now, we got some pushback on that, which I thought was interesting.
Oh.
So some people said, if you have it all in one area, why in the world would you need to have a list? And, if you'll just move it all to one area of your house, you don't need the list. You've done away with that requirement. But here's the thing. I don't know how many people have a space that they can dedicate to all this stuff. We live in a fairly decent-sized home, and we do have one area, like the whole back of our basement is built-in deep cabinets. So that's where a lot of our stuff is.
That's the pantry.
But not all of it.
No.
And so we do have several locations for these emergency items throughout the house. So tell me in the comments section, do you have a list? Do you think you need a list? Because we think you need a list. Especially what happens if Larry's gone to work, he's like, go get such and such. I'm like, I don't know where the heck that is. I think it's important to have a list, and I don't think it's realistic to think that everybody is going to be able to put them all in one area.
Yeah, we probably should put that on our refrigerator. That'd be a good place for it. Have a list on one of those magnetic things you put over potato chip packages with,
That would be the chip clips.
Oh, chip clips.
All right. Terry gave us some great thoughts. Pet supplies, which, we had Shelby for a long, long time. I know everybody gave a collective, because Larry doesn't have a dog anymore. But
she was so sweet. Oh my gosh.
We didn't think about pet supplies. So pet supplies, if you have a pet, you're going to need that. So make sure you have extra water on hand for your pets as well as your people.
Well, and food. And, you know, and they say dog medicine and extra water. For water, I would recommend getting some way you can filter water.
You got to have a good water filter. I think that's probably the easiest way to take care of the water equation.
Well, they say a gallon of water per person per day, and I'm trying to add that up. So people, how can you have a year's supply of water unless you've got a swimming pool with perfectly clean water out in your backyard? So if you have a filter, some kind of a way to filter water, I think that's a little more practical. Have some water on storage, sure.
Look, we have a water filtration system. We've showed it before. We'll throw a couple of photos in here. We'll throw a link to it in the description of the video. We love it.
Yeah, it's an Alexa.
It's Alexa Pure. And it has one filter. It filters out everything. You can filter pond water through it if you really need to. We've never needed to, but it says you can. We love it. We really think a high quality filtration system.
Yeah, you can put that kind of water in, but then you've got to clean your filter. Once you've done that, you got to clean it up.
Okay, and she reminds us. I thought this was really good. Have a few extra wooden paint stir sticks, because if you need an emergency splint, they work great.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that good? I loved it.
Gosh. Yeah,
I loved it. Here's the last thing that Terry said that I thought was very insightful. Make sure you know where all your emergency information is. Now, she said, for instance, have you thought about this? Making sure that your homeowner's insurance, your life insurance policies, your medical records, copies of prescription meds, have them all together. A copy of phone numbers, bank account numbers, birth certificates, anything that you think that you would need to grab if the house is burning down, that's the stuff you want to have together in one location where you can grab it and exit the house. And she said waterproof, even better if you put it in a waterproof container.
And I was just thinking, you could actually scan in all those documents and put them on a real little bitty flash drive. Maybe a couple of flash drives, and have those in a couple of different locations in your home.
I don't know, what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments section. Has this crossed your mind? And what are you doing about it? Because I got to be honest, our stuff is in the file cabinet, and I ain't carrying that 4-drawer file cabinet out of my bag.
No,
if something happens. So I think this is something we need to put some thought into.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
All right, next, Life Beyond the Salary, which I thought was a great name.
Oh, yeah, that is good. Yeah, we're going to get there pretty soon, actually. Scissors, I mentioned scissors again. Scissors as well as box cutters and fingernail clippers and nail filers. Those are all really good things. Now, for fingernail clippers, I've got a really sharp pair of scissors on my Swiss Army knife. It's real tiny, and those are really sharp. And they do a good job of cutting just about anything. I mean, there's so many uses. I probably use that more than I use the knife on there. So that's on my person all the time. So there's something to think about.
This is, by the way, guys, this is true. All of our boys have Swiss Army knives because in our family, it's a huge tradition that when you turn 13, your 13th birthday gift is a really good, high-quality Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
The boys all waited till they would like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm turning 13. I get my knife. And because, you know what? We didn't want them to like lose it.
Oh, I don't have
But
them.
you don't have it in your pocket. You can't even show them. No, you can't get up and go get it.
It's in my shorts. I don't have
Okay,
them.
he knows where it's at.
Oh, anyway, I was just
Usually
trying
it's
to...
on his person at all times.
Yeah, it is. I didn't.
Swiss Army knife, guys. Get yourself one.
I didn't transfer to my church pants this morning. Okay. Let's see. What else?
Oh, we're down here. I thought that was good too.
Wooden clips, and just not for clip bags, chip bags. Oh, then we got the chip thing going on again.
Chip clip thing going on.
And laundry. So wooden clips. Yeah. They can come in handy for all kinds of stuff. Books on preparedness, self-sufficiency, plants you can eat or avoid, medical training, etc. We've got a couple.
I know, but I really am going to get up.
Grab
guys,
the
them.
prepper. We have a couple of books that a fine viewer sent us. She wrote these books.
I know she wrote.
I've started
Tell
reading.
us if you want us to tell you what's in these books and do a review, because I think it would be really fun.
So, and this one's called Prepping 101. This was her first book. This is written by Kathy Harrison.
Hi, Kathy.
And she wrote this several years ago.
It's a well-written book. We've been through most of it. So tell us, guys, you want to know what's in these books? We would love to give Kathy a shout out. Buy her books. They're great books. And
okay, so
and we'll give you a synopsis and tell you the top 10 things we learned from each book.
That one was written in 2018, and this one was written in 2008. So she wrote this one first. So this is called Just in Case, Being Prepared. Very, very practical thing. I like this. It says, don't be scared, be prepared.
And this one on the back says, don't panic, prepare. Kathy is a woman after our own heart.
Yeah. See, and really good information. And if you want us to do some informational videos from these books, we'll be glad to do that.
Okay. And then one more thing. Saga Wang Sud.
Safety pins, you can fish with them too. Safety
Never would have
pins?
thought of that.
Oh.
Yeah, safety pins. You can make a hook out of a safety pin.
Oh wow!
So do you,
I had some.
You for real have a
I
safety
just took
pin?
them out of
Oh
my pocket.
gosh.
I had some in my pocket.
Yeah, just like the Swiss Army knife was in your pocket a minute ago. Hey guys, if you
I found some of yours in the Prius. I took them out of there.
my safety pins?
Yes.
Oh, oops. Yeah. All right, hey guys, if you haven't watched our video on our 60 non-food essentials we think you should be stocking up on now for your prepper pantry, there's a link to that video right over there. Go take a look.